If your squares always come out wobbly, scratchy, or just off, this video is for you. We are going to do a super simple square drawing exercise you can use in any drawing software or on a paper to clean up your line work and build confidence in your strokes. You don't need any fancy brushes, stabilizers, or rulers, just your hand, an undo button, and a bit of patience. Think of this as a drawing warm-up and a fundamentals drill rolled into one. The idea is very simple. We are going to fill an entire page or canvas with squares using a cross and erase method instead of the usual scratchy, guess and fix approach. This forces you to draw straighter, more confident lines and stop you from overworking every edge. You can do this in Photoshop, Procreate, Clip Studio, Krita, whatever you like, or just with a pencil and paper. I'll use my paint here because it's super streamlined for sketching distraction free. Alright, let's start with the basic square. Draw two long horizontal lines. Make it a single, deliberate stroke. Don't worry too much about the exact start and end points. Focus on a clean, confident line. Avoid that scratchy, hairy line made of tiny corrections. Then draw two verticals that intersect the horizontal line, closing the shape. Again, one quick, confident stroke for each. Don't obsess over making them perfect on the first try. If a line looks fundamentally wrong, just undo and redraw instead of fixing it with 1,000 micro strokes. You should end up with sort of grid cross shape forming your square. Now simply erase the intersections and extra segments so you're left with a clean square. The results will often look surprisingly close to something drawn with a ruler, especially compared to a scratchy patch up squares. Let me show you what I mean. Chances are you normally draw squares like this. You start at one corner, go slowly, hesitate, correct, go back and forth, and then redraw the same edge 5 times trying to fix it. You end up with a fuzzy, overworked outline that still does not look straight. Now let's do side by side comparison. This is the typical approach. And here is the criss and cross approach. Which one do you think looks more neat? Obviously the criss and cross method wins here. The way it works is you commit to a few confident lines, then use erasing to carve out the square. Because you're not constantly fixing the line, it stays cleaner and your hand slowly learns how a straight stroke feels. Now for the actual exercise, your goal, fill your entire canvas or sheet of paper with as many squares as you can. A few simple rules: no zooming in and out, don't change the canvas size midway, no rotating the canvas while you draw, avoid painting the lines with a soft brush. Treat this like you're drawing with a pencil. Imagine you're working on a real sheet of paper. You're just covering it with squares, big ones, small ones, straight ones, diagonal ones, using the same cross and erase idea. If you are in a digital app, resist the temptation to rely on fancy Photoshop brushes or super soft brushes that encourage you to build the line slowly. If your brush makes you want to paint the line instead of drawing it, switch to a simple, hard round or a pencil-like brush. For this exercise, you want as little friction as possible between you and the line. Use a simple sketching app or a simple setup in your favorite program. Any app where you can just pick a basic brush and draw. No complex brush engine, no layers to manage. One clean pencil or pen brush. No stabilizer, crank to the maximum. You don't want to spend your time tweaking settings. You want to spend your time drawing straight, confident lines across the page. For this reason, I recommend either My Paint or Mischief Free. Both are excellent streamlined apps. It has the iPhone-like feel. You just point and shoot. In this case, just point and draw with your digital pen. Once you're comfortable, you're welcome to start playing with variations. I encourage you to experiment with different sizes. Smaller squares if you're making too many mistakes. Larger ones as a challenge once you are warmed up. Avoid fixing bad lines with micro adjustments. If a side looks really off, just undo and redraw. You can also challenge yourself with diagonal squares. Same cross and erase parallel line tricks, but you do diagonal lines forming an X instead. Don't be discouraged if these get wobbly at first. You're training control and direction. Don't worry, you will improve with practice. Meanwhile, I suggest you use quick flicks from your wrist or arm to keep the stroke steady. Resist the temptation to use rulers or rotate your canvas during this practice. If you notice you're fumbling or messing up a lot, don't worry about it. That's part of the exercise. You can start by dropping down to smaller squares as a warm-up first, until your hand loosens up and your lines start feeling smoother. Then, when you are more comfortable, move back up to larger squares to challenge yourself again. Okay, there is not much to share at the moment, so I'm going to stay quiet for now. I'll put some energetic pop music on in the background so you have something to vibe to while you watch. Feel free to change the playback speed anytime if this works best for you. I'll let this play for a bit and I'll see you in a moment. As your page starts to fill, use the remaining gaps to squeeze in a few bigger squares as a final challenge. Inside those, you can try nesting smaller squares, making sure each one stays inside the last without touching the edges. Keep relying on confident strokes and the cross and erase method instead of patching or painting your lines. If you're especially struggling with your horizontal lines, here is a quick tip. Lightly mark your start and end points. Do a couple of ghost passes, moving your hand along the path without touching the canvas. Then commit to one clean stroke and erase your construction marks. This ghosting habit trains your muscle to hit the line you actually intend, and over time it makes straight strokes feels more natural. And if you haven't watched them yet, I really recommend checking out the line exercise lessons from the previous videos. They are super short, 5 to 8 minutes a day is enough, but they will help you get past those annoying wobbly horizontal lines, and you'll start seeing a night and day difference in your control within a week. That one I can promise you. Now, if you're wondering why you are doing all this, let me explain why this exercise actually works. The simple square-based but surprisingly effective exercise trains several fundamentals at once. 1. Line confidence. You learn to rely on single, intentional strokes instead of scratchy, hesitant corrections. 2. Control without rotation. By not rotating the canvas, you're forced to practice strokes in direction that normally feel awkward, which builds real control over time. It's not that you are banned from rotating your canvas forever. Make no mistake, nothing wrong with that. I use it myself when appropriate. You're just proving to yourself that you can handle these angles when you need to. 3. Page awareness. Filling in a whole page with squares builds stamina and spatial awareness instead of just doodling in one corner. With that said, do this regularly as a warm-up and you will start to notice your squares, rectangles, and even more complex shapes looking cleaner, more intentional, and a lot more confident across all your drawings. Okay, I think that's enough for today, so I'm stopping here. Off camera, I went ahead and cleaned up the intersections, and for the sides that were a bit wobbly, I just redid them using the same cross and erase technique we talked about, without drawing over them 1,000 times and ending up with that unwanted, ugly, scratchy, hairy look. And here is the end result. Not perfect, obviously, but clean and surprisingly close to something you would get with a ruler, with hardly any hairy lines. The sheet looks clean, no smudges, and the squares feel intentional instead of overworked. Now it's your turn. go ahead and fill up your sheet or canvas with squares using this exercise. When you're done, go ahead, share your results in the Discord so I can give you feedback and you can see how other people are getting onto. If you found this video helpful, hit like, share it with someone who is struggling with wobbly lines, and subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson. Turn on the notification bell if you want to be pinged when the next exercise drops. I'll see you soon. Bye bye and happy drawing.